Toy store chain Toys R Us. 800 U.S. stores, over 33,000 jobs, open over 6 decades, is closing its doors. The news of Toys R Us closing comes 6 months after the retailer filed for bankruptcy. The company has struggled to pay down nearly $8 billion in debt, much of it dating to a 2005 buyout, and has had trouble finding a buyer. There were reports earlier this week that Toys R Us had stopped paying its suppliers, which include the country's largest toy makers. On Wednesday, the 14th, today, Pi Day, the company announced it would close all 100 of its UK stores. In the US, the company told employees that closures would occur over time, not all at once. Toys R Us, once the country's preeminent toy retailer, has basically been unable to keep up with online competition. The recent holiday season dealt yet another blow to the embattled company, which has struggled to find its footing even as the retail industry racked up its largest gains in years. In January, they announced they would close 182 United States stores, or about like a fifth of its remaining Toys R Us and Babies R Us locations. A group of toy makers led by MGA Entertainment, the giant behind brands such as LOL Surprise, Little Tikes, Bratz, Wednesday submitted a bid to buy Toys R Us Canadian arm, which includes about 82 stores. They added they would also look into buying as many of the 400 U.S. stores which would seek to operate under the Toys R Us name. There's no toy business without Toys R Us, said a spokesman. It's a big deal, and I'm going to try to salvage as much of it as possible. According to his September bankruptcy filing, Toys R Us owes MGA Entertainment $21 million. Despite turnaround efforts at Toys R Us, which included adding more hands-on play labs, retail experts say the 60-year-old company has been unable to get customers back into its stores. It doesn't offer the low prices or convenience of some of the larger competitors, nor the fun-filled experience that the many smaller outfits do, some analysts have said. Toys R Us, based in Wayne, New Jersey, has been struggling for years to pay down billions of dollars in debt as competitors such as Amazon, Walmart, and Target win over an increasingly larger piece of the toy market. Its bankruptcy filing last year cited $7.9 billion in debt against $6.6 billion in assets. The company said it has more than 100,000 creditors, the largest of which are the Bank of New York. It owes $208 million, Mattel $136 million, and Hasbro $59. The collapse of the storied toy chain raises a number of questions for the employees, of course, as well as consumers in the coming weeks. Senator Charles E. Schumer of New York on Wednesday urged Toys R Us to give customers cash in exchange for their unused gift cards, which he said would be as worthless and as unwanted as a lump of coal in a stocking. The music is about to stop for the iconic retailer, Schumer said in a statement on Wednesday. Consumers could be left in the lurch. He also urged the Federal Trade Commission to take an immediate look at how Toys R Us is handling the winding down of its operation. The company's CEO, David Brandon, notified employers earlier in the day, according to an earlier report by the Wall Street Journal. The announcement marks the end for a company that sold millions of toys to millions of American kids. For over half a century, Jeffrey, the mascot giraffe, invited kids to its giant playhouses. Legions of adults who came of age in the 80s and 90s can probably still whistle its jingle, "I'm a Toys R Us kid." But Walmart, Target, and other big retailers, as earlier advised, stores that also sold aisles of toys and everything else too, began to erode its dominance. And then, of course, Amazon sped its demise. And of course, they had followed for bankruptcy. Toys R Us has not made a full profit since 2012 in one single year, and has lost $2.5 billion since 2012. It reported a loss of $953 million in the first 9 months of last year alone. Sales during the recent holiday period, again, which I mentioned earlier, which the company has yet to report, are believed to have been very, very bad. So yesterday, I decided to take my family and go to Toys R Us and just kind of walk around one last time before all the signs saying we are closing, clearance, final sale, liquidation, whatever the case may be, and tour around the store, take some video, see what it will be like even a few years from now as I can look back on this video. And I was excited to do this. You'll see some shots of me in here too. But I think about Kmart closing, and I have some of those videos on my channel too, touring one of the last opening. But even so, I am saddened as I think about all the other stores that have closed, as Circuit City, as Blockbuster, as Kmart. I even toured a Kmart. Yeah, here I am sitting in this car. I thought I was having a good time. My son's like, yeah. But I think about those stores closing, and that's the only thing I can think of is all, and I've used this term before because it's the best way to describe it, the brick and mortar stores are slowly fading away. And I take a shot here of the Babies R Us section. I really don't walk over there. I kind of know what that is, and there's still going to be those kind of stores out there. But these toy stores, these giant chains that have been across our United States for a long time, and this store's even international, are starting to fade away, and it's sad. I toured a Kmart last year that I had shopped at as a kid, my sister had worked at, and it closed. And when I went in there at the time, they didn't know if they were going to close, even though a lot of the other Kmarts in the United States have been closing. So as I walked around here, I was thinking about the same thing, and I just decided to record and film stuff that we may never get to see in the same way. Yes, Walmart has toys. Yes, Target has toys. But this store was dedicated to toys. It had a mascot for toys. Walmart does not. Target does not. It was just made for kids, made for toys. I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. It made you think of stuff like that. And so it's sad. It's also sad to see all those people losing their jobs. And I don't know if they're going to do an online option. I saw where they're going to try and keep a couple stores open, a couple hundred. Somebody's going to buy them. Here, the show boy decides to try to drive this thing, and it pops out. Thought it was hilarious. His face was. And so you never know if they're going to keep some open. There were still a few people in here shopping, and when I actually talked to someone at the store, they said they didn't know when it would close or if it would close, so we don't know when that's going to happen here. But hopefully this helps you out a little bit. You get to tour a little bit. You get to hear the news of what's happening, and we'll see what happens in the future. You never know where things can go. So enjoy watching some cool shots, some setup shots, just me walking down an aisle recording toys, and enjoy that while it lasts, as a lot of things are just going online. Thanks for watching. I'll let the music play. You guys enjoy the rest of this video, and I'll see you next time on another exploring / abandoned / informative video from the Showstopper Shows. Bye, Toys R Us.